I step outside and am greeted by a large elemental. He stands tall, has brown and green limbs, has skin that splinters and sheds, and is about 25 feet away from me. His name is Cedar, because that's what he is. Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Wherever you are in this world, I wish you well. Welcome to another episode of the Sacred Raven podcast. Grab yourself a nice cup of tea and let's get cozy. So did you know that cedar is a genus of coniferous trees in the plant family Pinaceae? There are various species that can be found worldwide, and many of them are used in herbal medicine and ceremony. Joseph Campbell believed that by participating in a ritual occasion, you are in a magical field, a field that is putting you in touch with your own great depth. Cedar has been used in ritual and in ceremonies for thousands of years. In particular, it is used for grounding and protection, as well as purification and prayer. The practice of smudging is a way to purify your space and to evoke a prayerful mindset. Part of the protection cedar provides is that of invisibility. Yes, invisibility. Many of us have a hard time cultivating invisibility simply because we long for recognition from others. But there are times when our lives call for us to become invisible. To be in the shadows, to be hidden, you are able to protect yourself, your creative projects, and your relationships. Many Native American tribes place great significance on the cedar tree. They will burn the plant's leaves as a ceremonial smudge. According to Cherokee legend, there once was a dark sorcerer who could not be defeated by death alone. His negative influence was finally quelled when his head was hung in the branches of a cedar. The belief that cedar has the power to vanquish evil and provide a barrier to those who invoke her protection is strong. And consider the spirit of cedar to be the likes of a dignified witch, one who uses her intuition and power only for good. She carries herself with courage, strength, and nobility. In classical literature and mythology, cedar trees are associated with virtue and divine favor. It's mentioned in various folklore traditions how cedar is comprised of mystical properties as well. In the Bible, the meaning of cedar is often associated with strength and longevity. The Temple of Solomon was built with cedar wood. In the book of Ezekiel, the cedar's grandeur is attributed to its deep-reaching roots that tap into abundant waters. This ability, which is unique to the cedar, makes it exalted above all the trees of the field. This emphasizes the cedar as a symbol of strength and wisdom due to its exceptional capacity to access deep waters not available to other trees. The Epic of Gilgamesh tells how Utnapishtim used cedar as an offering to the gods for allowing him to survive the Great Flood. In ancient Greek mythology, cedar trees were associated with Artemis, the goddess of hunting and wilderness. These majestic trees were thought to be sacred to Artemis, representing strength, protection, and the untamed beauty of nature. And tales of spiritual journeys and encounters with ethereal beings frequently feature cedar groves as mystical settings that blur the lines between the earthly and the divine. Cedar holds significant importance in Lebanon, thanks to its ability to withstand challenging times throughout history. The Lebanese cedar is the central motif on the Lebanese flag and the unofficial state emblem. Members of cedar's other family genus, Thuja, are used in both Chinese and Western medicine for various applications, such as removing warts, stopping nosebleeds, and healing wounds. Other cedars are used in the form of essential oil as an antifungal and antibacterial remedy. The ancient Egyptians used cedar essential oil in the sacred embalming process. The oil's aroma balances jagged energies, provides warmth and comfort, and works pretty handy as an insect repellent. The cedar tree has wide branches that are almost parallel to the ground, giving the impression of many individual floors made of greenery stacked one above the other. In the late 19th century, author John Worcester likened the cedar tree's structure to gaining natural and spiritual knowledge. He wrote, "The spiritual tree must also extend its branches, put forth leaves, and mature its fruit on successive planes of the mind." Worcester explained that the scent of cedar wood signifies the joy people experience when uncovering knowledge and truth. And there's modern-day significance to cedar as well. They hold vital ecological importance by playing a significant role in maintaining biodiversity and ecosystem health. They're known for their resilience in challenging environments. They contribute to soil stabilization and help to prevent erosion. By providing habitats and food for various species of birds, insects, and mammals, cedar trees support the balance of local ecosystems. And cedar forests help mitigate climate change by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. This aids in the regulation of greenhouse gas levels. The cedar tree is one of the most versatile trees in our existence. Almost every part of the cedar can be used in one way or another. For example, drying and braiding cedar roots from the tree's base produces cordage for crafting hats and baskets. Cedar tree spikes are strong and light and naturally grow in long strands. Therefore, it can be used to make great ropes. It's simple to split and carve, and people use it to make canoes, paddles, hooks, spears, fishing floats. And cedar is also known to make jewelry boxes or precious caskets. The wood deters woodworms, insects, and other pests that can harm different kinds of wood. Cedar bark is incredibly useful. It can be colored and turned into different kinds of yarn for making mats, clothing, blankets, and hats. Like roots and sticks, the bark creates ropes, baskets, and fishing nets. The particular cedar in my backyard is an Atlantic white cedar. It has been around for at least 70 years, and I have been around it for the better part of my life. First as a neighbor, and then as a resident on the property. Since living here, I have developed a connection with it. When I sit and talk with him, I always hear a masculine voice in my head. When I asked for his name, he was quiet at first. I remember feeling like he may not have been sure what I was talking about. So I explained that while my species is called human, my individual name is Jen. And we refer to his species as cedar, but I wanted to know his individual name. He thought for a moment and decided he liked cedar. So it stuck. Years ago, when I first considered connecting and talking with trees, I immediately thought it would take an extended length of time. And that's because of the impression I received when I watched the movie The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Specifically, the scene when Merry and Pippin meet Treebeard. That film depicted trees speaking slowly and methodically. But I have learned over the years that isn't entirely true. I am sure there are trees that do test your patience, but my cedar doesn't fit that mold. I recently asked him if there was any advice he would like to offer, not just for me, but for anyone listening. I explained to him earlier about this podcast. He thought it was kind that he became a topic worth sharing. He stated how important it is to slow down, that there truly isn't a rush worth experiencing. Nature moves at its own pace and everything grows. People need to be more like nature. After all, humans are a part of nature, a big part. We have simply forgotten. He went on to describe that he is never lonely. He loves interacting with every creature that crosses his path. When chipmunks or squirrels or birds land or crawl on him, he feels loved. He feels the purpose of his existence. And his existence is to just be present for whoever or whatever comes his way. There is a network below ground that keeps him connected to other trees and plants. He said humans can't physically see the energy that's there underground, but it's there. He is communicating to other trees all the time. He is not a fan of people who litter. Now, before I continue with that, I need to explain the plot of land I live on so you understand what I'm about to say. It's under 1 acre, probably closer to 3/4. In the last quarter or so of it, it's full of trees and brush, and that leads out to the street behind our property. During the winter, you can see through to that street and to a few of the neighbors' houses. There's a good amount of overgrowth during the late spring and summer months, so it's harder to see what goes on back there. Cedar is located in our backyard, closer to our house than that back section of woods. But he is tall enough to see the many neighbors we have around this part of the neighborhood. So, with that said, he is not a fan of litter. Specifically people in our neighborhood who decide to dump some trash along the back portion of our property. We have this one neighbor in particular who refuses to burn or bag up any leaves and brush in her yard. She will rake up piles and then carry it over to the back of our property and dump it. Cedar can easily see her any time of the year, and he thinks she is lazy and most definitely not in tune with nature. And before anyone comments or asks, we have spoken to her several times. We have put up no trespassing and no littering signs, and we've even spoken to the police about what we can do. None of it has helped. We want to clean up that back section and make the landscape serene and calm. And maybe when we do, only then will she stop. One can hope. But I love being in my backyard and talking with Cedar. I feel calm when I place my hands on him and just start talking. I always tell him I appreciate him and love him, and he appreciates the connection as well. On days I don't get outside to talk with him, I stand in my bedroom and wave to him from the window. I hope he sticks around for a long time. Well, thank you for joining me in this episode. I appreciate you taking the time to share this space with me. Do you have a tree or a plant you feel a connection to? If so, put it in the comments. I would love to know. And if this has resonated with you, please take a second to follow or subscribe, or share this with someone who may be venturing down a spiritual path and has a hunger to learn and grow. I will see you next time. Stay cozy and take care.